Come on, 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 please, 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 oh yeah, like I please you. I guess you're just what I needed, just what I needed. I needed someone to feed. I guess you're just what I needed, just what I needed. I needed someone to bleed. Good girls don't. Good girls don't. I should be telling you, good girls don't. But I do. 'Cause you need to get back in the arms of a good friend. And I need to get back in the arms of a girlfriend. Stacy's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I've waited for so long. Stacy, can't you see? You're just not the girl for me. I know it might be wrong, but I'm in love with Stacy's.
And here's another great album. Everybody knows this one. This is Get the Knack. This obviously has My Sharona on it, and every song on here is pure power pop. And My Sharona is the most popular and most successful power pop song ever made. It's a number one, single. It sold millions and millions of copies as a single, and it sold this album millions and millions of copies. And yeah, it's a great, great album. Lyric-wise, there's some questionable stuff on here. Don't necessarily need to get into it, but when you do read the lyrics, you're going to be like, yeah, some of this stuff is a little problematic. But the guy's, I think he is retroactively saying, oh yeah, I was writing that from a, young boy's point of view, So I don't know about that myself, but it's still a great album. The lyrics, they're not too bad, but they are a little bit much. But regardless, it's still a great, great album, and it's a fun listen. And it's pure power pop and influenced tons and tons of bands after it.
Your adolescent dream, schoolboy stuff, a sticky sweet romance. She makes you wanna scream, wishing she was giving you a chance. So you fantasize away while you're squeezing her. You thought you heard her saying, good girls don't. Good girls don't. I should be telling you, good girls don't. But I do.
And this came out September 79. This is The Shoes. This is another album that is in the top 10 or top 20 of power pop albums ever. I love this record. This is Present Tense. These guys are from Illinois as well, same place as Cheap Trick. Fantastic album. The Shoes are just one of the greatest power pop bands, and this album is just incredibly replayable in my opinion. I just can play it over and over and over again. The songs just have great hooks, great harmonies, really cool lyrics even, like nothing really risky on here, like The Knack, and just really, really, really good stuff. This is one of my favorite albums. You can get this album for like $5 pretty much anywhere. It's always available in the bins, I think. I never not see it out there. I've come across it a bunch of times. And it's all over Discogs too, so you should be able to find it pretty easily.
Don't say goodbye, 'cause you're the one that I need. Don't say goodbye, you know you're special to me. All the time, tell me why. All the time, I can't show what I feel. Do you know what I mean? I get restless inside in the night. What do you say? Wait till tomorrow night. How can I wait until tomorrow night? Don't let it.
Another album that came out in 79, October 79, another great power pop album. This is a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100%. This is The Beat. It kind of goes by Paul Collins in The Beat now because The Beat is just too hard to search for as a band on, Spotify or, just Google in general. So if you search for Paul Collins, The Beat, you'll find this album. And this album's kind of significant in a way that Green Day actually covered one of the songs on here, Walking Out on Love. And they put it in their musical too, I guess, because they had a American Idiot. I guess Green Day had an American Idiot musical on Broadway. And they used that, I think they used that song, and they actually covered that song that I mentioned. So, they were influenced as well. And Green Day is in my, they're pop punk, but it's a power pop kind of offshoot slightly. So, they're definitely influenced by power pop. They know what they know what their roots are, and their roots are also, the pop punk stuff. But I really think that were hugely influenced by bands like, Paul Collins and The Beat and some of these other power pop bands from the late 70s. But this is an excellent, excellent power pop album. And another album that is pure power pop. This is an album that probably nobody's heard of. I never heard of it until I bought it recently, and it's a band called Straight 8 and No Noise From Here. This album it's probably is a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100%, but it might be more like a 4.5, but it's still really, really, it's still that good. 4.5, 95%, 9.5. Excellent, excellent album. These guys were signed by Pete Townsend. They were put on the Eel Pie label, which is Pete Townsend's label. And Pete Townsend, by the way, he coined the phrase power pop when he was talking about the Who music back when Pictures of Lily was one of their singles. So yeah, really influential to Who on modern power pop. And of course, Straight 8, yeah, they love those guys. And this band went nowhere, did nothing. I'd never heard of them until I just bought this record kind of blindly, knowing that it was power pop, not hearing it. And I was incredibly surprised. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful album. It's in that pure power pop style.
True crime, don't pay. You never listen when the judges say. I know a thing or two about you. I like you. I like you. I like you. I like you. Top line, I said.
Next is, now we're getting into 1980, and the Romantics came out with their first album from Detroit. And this is, the Romantics' first album. This had the hit single, What I Like About You, which was played a lot on MTV. I remember when I was a kid in 1980. It was one of the only songs that had like a music video, and I always thought it was cool because the drummer was singing in the song, and that was, I'd never really seen that before. You never really saw music being played, at all when you were a kid until MTV. So it was really cool to see, actually bands playing instruments and, actually playing their songs. But yeah, the Romantics is a huge power pop band. Their first 2 to 3 albums are just really, really, really good. If you get this one, and I think it's called In Heat is the second one with Talking in Your Sleep. Both of these albums are excellent, excellent, excellent albums, and pure power pop. Really, really, really good stuff. The jangly guitars, the harmonies, Beatles influence, whole deal. Another one came out, this came out in 1982, and this is Marshall Crenshaw. This came out a little bit later, so we're getting in the early 80s now, past power pop's prime, but Marshall Crenshaw just wrote some incredibly infectious songs, and they just went to the top 40. This is kind of like, when power pop kind of went top 40 in a way. With My Sharona and the Knack and stuff, it kind of did as well, but Marshall Crenshaw did a really good job writing some of these great power pop songs. Just incredibly melodic, simple, short. That's another thing that power pop is. Not only is it, extremely catchy choruses and stuff like that, it's just short songs like the Beatles, like they just wrote those really 3.5 minute songs. That's all you need. Sometimes 2.5 minutes. It didn't need to be that long. You just get in and out, and you just, you know, have a really, really catchy chorus, makes you want to play it over and over and over again. And there's many, many songs on here that are like that. There's so many songs on here that just weren't hits that are just excellent.
Well, I hate TV. There's gotta be somebody other than me who's ready to write it off immediately. I'm looking for a cynical girl. Well, I know right away by the look in her eye. She harbors no illusions and she's worldwide. And I know when I give her a listen, she's what I've been missing. What I've been missing, I'll be lost in love and having some fun with my cynical girl. We'll have no use for.
All right, July 86. So we're getting in the mid 80s now. The Smithereens came out with Especially for You. There's 2 hit singles on here, Blood and Roses and Behind the Wall of Sleep. Both those songs are incredibly catchy, really, really great stuff. This is a little bit, I mean, the Beatles influence is still there with these guys, but this is, you know, more just like, you know, guitar pop music. You know, it's guitar oriented but has pop choruses, and it's just really catchy stuff and really, really good. And it just, you know, it has harmonies, so it still has the same thing, but this album does sound a little different. It's not like the jangly guitars as much as more of a thicker guitar sound, but you know, it's just that I think the sound is just evolving a little bit towards something a little bit new, but it's still power pop at its root, and it's good stuff. I mean, tons of songs on here that are just extremely catchy and really fun. And Green Thoughts, I think, is the second album. Really, really good album as well. It also has a couple hit singles on there that were really good.
Jeannie Shrimp turned back in 1965. She had legs that never ended. I was halfway paralyzed. She was tall and cool and pretty, and she dressed as black as coal. If she asked me to, I'd murder her. I would gladly lose my soul. Now I lie in bed and think of her. Sometimes I even weep. Then I dream of her behind the wall of sleep.
This album came out in 1987. I'd never heard of this band either, like Straight 8. I got this with the same collection. This is a band called Bleached Black. Excellent, excellent album. This is a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, 100%. Believe it or not, it's an excellent album that nobody has ever showed ever that I've ever seen in a VC video. So get this album. Bleach Black is an excellent, excellent band. This is kind of moving. I mean, this you would think that this kind of would sound like a 90s, you know, an early 90s, like kind of Nirvana a little bit, you know, like it has more of a thicker guitar sound, kind of Dinosaur Jr.-esque as well, but it's just has that, you know, those choruses that just rip, and like you're just like so memorable. Every song is just incredibly melodic and just really, really, really good. I have no complaints of this album whatsoever. It's a really, really great album. It is completely underground. You will, you know, nobody's, I mean, I think you can get this album for anywhere from $5 to $10 online. It's not expensive at all, and it's just really, really great. Bleached Black, self-titled. I think this is the only album they ever did too. They were just like a one and done, and this album is so good. I don't get why it's not talked about more.
In your life, you were in my mind. Wonder, glad and white, but Greystone's pressing tight. Sail on, summer snow. Right the wrong till it's gone. When I was in your mind, you were in my life. A brushstroke breaking ground became a sense of pride. Sail on, summer snow. Right the wrong till it's gone.
March 88, the Primitives came out with Lovely, And this has the hit single Crash, which is a very much a melodic kind of power pop song. And again, like I said, this isn't straight power pop like it was in the late 70s. And this is like moves a little bit more away from the Beatles than some of the previous stuff. And when you get closer to the 90s, at least some of the bands move away from the Beatles, but they still have those choruses. And like I said, the sound changes a little bit, but it's still power pop at its root. And, because they're influenced by, the Big Stars, the Badfingers, and even the late 70s, stuff like the Beat and, the Knack and stuff like that. I think the Primitives as well are really influenced by that stuff. And, this might be an edge case, but I still put this in my power pop category.
Here you go, way too fast. Don't slow down, you're gonna crash. You should watch your step. Don't look out, gonna break your neck. So shut your mouth. 'Cause I'm not listening anyhow. I had enough of you. Enough to last a lifetime through. So what do you want of me? Got no words of sympathy. And if I go around with you, you know that I'll get messed up too with you.
And here's another album. This album came out in 1991. So now we're into 90s, and Material Issue, they come out with Veronica Loves Me. And man, that song just rips. And yeah, international pop overthrow. These guys know what they're doing. They know that they're power pop. They know what they're influenced by. And I don't think it's no accident that they're putting pop in their album title. And Material Issue is a great band. Tragic story for the singer. And this album is fantastic. It's great. It's, gets put into the alternative category. Like it would be alternative like Matthew Sweet, but it's power pop at its roots, and it has the harmonies, it has the Beatles influence, and it does have some jangly guitars, even though this is more grungy. It still has that power pop taste to it.
Valerie's riding in a car around my neighborhood. She's thinking of all the men she'll meet. I could only hope for a stolen moment of her thoughts between the walking club and all the drinks she'll have in a crowded room where everybody leaves too soon. I only hope that she remembers me. Valerie loves me.
All right, that's Power Pop in 30 albums, kind of like an intro. I hope you liked the video, and I hope this helps you find some bands. And if you are interested in the Power Pop genre, you may have some of these already, but maybe you were just like, oh, I didn't really know there was a lot of other bands that were like this stuff. And there's a ton. So yeah, if anybody has any suggestions for Power Pop bands that are really underground, unknown stuff, that's the stuff I'm looking for. Like the Straight Eight and stuff like that. Those were bands that I had no idea existed, and I was so happy to find that stuff because it's really, really, really good. All right, thanks for watching.